It is your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with a new installment of the Sunday Spotlight, where we spotlight everything in the world of professional wrestling. And your boy is back. Your boy is back. New spot, new setup. Hello Kitty, all the ghost Pokemon behind me. We're gonna get a real setup soon. Just moving to the new crib, but I'm happy to be back on the spotlight, and I'm happy to be here with a full house. Word that Danny Tanner, uh, get well, my dog, Uncle Joey too. I know he is sick, battling cancer. So salute to Uncle Joey, by the way. I don't know how I got to that tangent, but let's start the show and let's introduce the gang. First and foremost, we're gonna kick it out to Louisville. We're gonna kick it out to 1/3 of the Tuesday NXT crew. Not Joe Hendry, because I believe in this man. Drizzy, what up, bro?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy, the one. You should believe in your boy Dryzzy, aka Plug Funny the Wrestler Plug. You don't know what to watch. I got you. Get
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir. Hey, take all the recommendations you need to, man. Drizzy got y'all. Next on the docket, we going out to New York City. We going to the Queen of Wrestling Republic. If you don't follow her social medias and the stuff that she's doing, you are a damn fool. Megan, how are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. We are filming this the night before Survivor Series, so it's the calm before the storm. We'll be singing a whole nother tune come this time tomorrow night. So I am just enjoying the peace before our world come crashing around us, wrestling wise, of course.
Without a doubt. And yeah, Survivor Series is about to be crazy. I'm excited for the War Games matches and all of that. So, hopefully y'all will watch the review and then you're gonna watch this. But like I said, we pre-recorded. Last but not least, we got someone who had to pay referees for the Black Friday game today so his Kansas City Chiefs can be 10-1. I don't know what's going on, but Clark,
Hey,
what's
hey,
up,
it's
man?
bad. It's bad snap. That's all I can say. I'm wearing black and white on accident, but everyone knows it's another Chiefs win. I will say, shout out Uncle Joey. I'm a huge Full House fan myself. You really tugged on my heartstrings there, Shoddy. Monster shout out there, no doubt about it. Also, Kimmy Gibbler for sure, big fan. Either way, let's talk some wrestling. It's Sunday Night Spotlight. I'm excited to get into it, and I'm excited to be here no matter what night of the week it is.
Nah, no doubt. And yo, I Full House was my jam. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Oh, dude, dug
Re-
it.
re- yeah, rest in peace, Bob Saget as well.
I used to have
Danny
to be
Tanner.
out the door by 7:58, so I missed the last 2 minutes of so many episodes of Full House.
You missed
It's
what it was.
unbelievable.
Music,
When
and
I
you
was
learn
a
your
kid.
lesson with the episode.
Yeah, like I'd miss the last 2 minutes every time running out the door to walk to school.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, let's start the show off and let's get to the first topic at hand because there is a strong faction that has been taking over the world of all elite wrestling, and it is John Moxley and the Death Riders, the gang formerly known as the Blackpool Combat Club, switched it up a little bit, got some new members in the fold, and man, they are a force to be reckoned with. They have been wrecking havoc. Last pay per view, last Dynamite, everything across the landscape of AEW. And Megan, I know you wanted to talk about this, so
Right.
the floor is yours. Tell us about your spotlight topic, John Moxley and the Death Riders.
Yes. Honestly, there's not really much that I can say about them outside of the fact that they are really dominating AEW right now. Now, when they first came together, um, it was just John and Marina Shafir, and I didn't really understand where it was going. this was around the time that the pictures was coming out of Shane McMahon with Tony and with the Young Bucks. So, of course, when this came about, I thought maybe this is their way in writing him into the story. Now, something interesting did happen at Full Gear, which uh they kind of just let it slip past us, but it didn't slip past me. Um, there was a little incident after John Moxley's match against Orange Cassidy where Darby had crashed into the truck that they are, the little pickup truck that they're always riding in, and they got into another vehicle, which was somebody driving it. Now, a lot of people assume that the sixth person who was driving that is someone that is important. Maybe it was just a driver and they just stole the ride. I don't know, but I thought it was a really interesting theory that has been going around. But you know, there's something very there's just something that really draws my attention with this new era that John has embarked on. And I don't know if ultimately all of AEW is going to turn on him, because that's what it kind of seems like. Because also at the end of the match, you had Hangman Adam Page, you had Christian, you had um, Jay White, Darby. Before you had Daniel Garcia. It seemed like all of AEW is trying to prevent this group from doing whatever it is that they feel is what their their responsibilities, whatever it is that they are meant to do. It seems as though there's a large group of wrestlers that is trying to prevent them from doing that. So, um, honestly, it's been a real interesting story to watch. And like I said, it's not really much I can say because it's still early on, but I enjoy watching them when I see them on TV. Uh I just overall want to see where this particular story with John and the rest of them do go.
For sure. And I agree with everything that you kind of said. Moxley, man, I don't think we can kind of equate how important he is to AEW. Like, he's one guy who's always been the kind of, you know, glass when you need someone to fix stuff up when it's a little broken. He's the ultimate tool to do that. But like
Yep.
this type of character work in the faction, it's been real interesting, and it kind of reminds you, how great of a character John Moxley is. And as he's gotten, from we've seen him from the early frame of his early career, prior to like the independence to what he was doing as Dean Ambrose in the WWE, and even being the big time pickup on AEW. Like now he's kind of like more of a vet, right? He's more of a seasoned vet, and he's kind of doing stuff that's a little different. And I like the whole. I love the storyline of a faction trying to do stuff for the greater good and trying to take over and save something in their own image rather than whatnot. Because it's like it plays off of them obviously being heels, but like every bad guy kind of has a bit of a
The right,
reason for what they're doing,
the
right?
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what you
I'm.
what you think, Drizzy? What are your thoughts on the Death Riders?
I have gone on record a few times now. This is the NWO for AEW. Now, it is still the very early stages of it, but it is the NWO Sting dynamic. You have your Sting apprentice Darby Allen, and you have the Death Riders, who are essentially the NWO. Moxley is on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores of wrestlers, not because of his longevity in WWE, because of him being an indie god. He is from the time frame of when you had to look on the internet to try and figure out when you see names like Matt Seidel, John Moxley, uh, Sammy Callahan, like things like people like
Yeah.
it. Those the indie darlings that that the WWE likes to talk about. He is from built from that, and the same can be said for Claudio, Pac, Marina, not so much, but her husband definitely.
Right.
Like these guys all come are cut from that cloth, and they're trying to reset it back to that time frame. I think
Yeah.
that's
No,
truly
no,
where they're trying to take it back to.
no doubt. And I think like to that, I feel like that's why I like AEW so much. Like I always said, it's kind of like the renaissance of professional wrestling after a long, like on a more mainstream circuit. Like I think Tony Khan is so in tune to pro wrestling, where like he really be watching everything. He watches the
He
independents. He
does.
watches Japan. He watches what's
Right.
going on in Mexico. Right. That's why
Hmm.
he loves to kind of blend everything and put it out there. Like he's doing it for the love of pro wrestling in that standpoint. Obviously, Clark, I know you are going to spotlight one member of the Death Riders, but what are your thoughts on the group as a whole too?
What I think is so fascinating about this one, and Megan brought up a lot of great points. But so we've seen Moxley do a lot of different things in AEW, and then obviously before, whether it be the Indies or WWE, he did this in the most John Moxley way possible, and that's the part that sticks out to me. Like I read his book this year; it's one of my favorite books I've read this year. If you haven't already read it and you don't like John Moxley, don't read it if you don't want to like John Moxley. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
genuinely, it's really really good, and this is you know at first people tried to put this in a box, right? But they talked about it. They tried to put it in a box and make it something just like the title, right? They tried to put it in a box, but that was unintentional. But at the same time, like that's the way this all started. The storm was weathered, and now it's one of the most intriguing storylines in wrestling. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's going on with John Moxley, and,
Yeah.
and it is very it has Moxley's fingerprints all over it, and it's brilliant in that way because a lot of other right we tried to connect a name that starts with Mick McMahon, right, one of those ones to this storyline in the beginning. We've tried to attach, and when I say we, I mean everybody that watches wrestling and covers whatever, right, speculating and having fun. It is what it is, but now it stands on its own. And that's what's so cool about what Moxley has accomplished with this to me, because that's hard to do. That's not what we're talking about anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what's up with Moxley, and it's at his direction, as are the Death Riders. They feel like a legit group, and it's better than the Blackpool Combat Club because none of them are from
Na-
Blackpool. I kept pointing
the
that out.
name, the name is so
Hold on,
colder too. The Death
where's
Riders.
where's Pac from?
Not Blackpool,
He, he's from somewhere.
Liverpool or something, Manchester,
I'm
one of
not
the other
going
cities.
somewhere in the UK. You know what's
Not
crazy though?
Blackpool.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I think the point that you made in regards to the McMahon aspect, you and Megan, I think him not obviously anything can change, right? But I think him not being part of it is the betterment of the faction because I think a lot of people when they would have kind of not taken it as serious in a way
Hmm.
just because I feel like Shane's persona as of late has kind of been a little like everyone views him as just like the old guy trying to get back into the frame of past
Hmm.
his heydays or whatever it may be. He might have some of the McMahon stints, even though a lot of it probably isn't even tied to him, right? He kind of got done dirty by his family, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
Moxley, man, he be spitting like some crazy promos, like those little
I
like
know.
vignettes that they cut out in
Yeah.
the beginning of it. Like he's pulling stuff from like you probably would read from like the Art of War or something like that. Like he's
He's
giving you
getting
like some
mean, too.
One thing you have to love, and I absolutely adore. I am a John Moxley key. I was brought up on the Switchblade conspiracy. John Moxley is a walking promo. He is ready at
Yeah.
all times, and he will ramble. Cause I love those Bray Wyatt. Though you say everything but say nothing at all. He is one of
Hmm.
those guys. He will tell you a life sonnet about nothing. He will sell you a dream, and I love. And he's the perfect person for things like this.
Yeah. He's got like that bit of how you said with Bray Wyatt, but he still has a aura of like how Stone Cold is, like just not giving
Hmm.
a damn, just being a like blue collar badass in a way too. So I mean, man, we big us to Mox, man. You got to give him his flowers at the end of the day. Dude is a Hall of Famer, like you said. A lot of
He's
people may put him on the Mount Rushmore for themselves. Part of the one of the greatest factions of all time with the Shield, man. And
hot take,
hey,
hot
man,
take, a hot take. He's one of the best promos in wrestling.
Also, by
oh
the
yeah,
way, when I heard that he showed up to Extreme Couture in Vegas, one of the gnarliest MMA gyms in the world, and ran on the treadmill for a half hour in combat boots, I was like, yeah, that's John Moxley for you right there. That okay.
for
I see
sure.
you there.
For sure, for sure. Ah, man, great topic. Let's get to the next one because this one is a little bit more of someone who you should know. And after Drizzy said he's picking this man, I had to look him up a little bit. And I ain't gonna lie to you, this is the type of professional wrestler I like. These are the type of wrestlers I like because charisma and character work goes the extra mile when we talk about pro wrestling. And we're talking about Stan Michael over here, the R&B singer. If I'm not mistaken,
You
Jersey,
gotta
I'm
be.
going to
You
open the
gotta
floor to
say
you,
the
man.
whole. You gotta say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. This is the true king of R&B, Stan Michaels. It is not a gimmick. My man's really be singing. He got an album out called More on This Later. Definitely go look it up on iTunes, on Spotify, everything. I so this is one of the few people I was able to conversate with before he became a full time wrestler, and just talking to him, he is a student of the game. He is he is a WCW kid through and through, and he understands it. He gets it, and you can tell that he's just so into character work, into doing all the little things that matter. And the best part about him is his promos. The man is a great wrestler inside the ring. One of my favorites, and I just said it because he's a friend of mine, but he really is one of the better wrestlers in the ring, and his promos are just it's a work of art. You will literally be singing it. His like you know how Joe Henry has his own songs that he does. They're catchy for a bit. Dan Michaels will have you singing his entire catalog. He recently just did one against Joseph A. Game. If you know, that probably somebody I spotlight later on, but another good wrestler. He did one with him a, a musical disc with him too. I believe it was Chris Brown. Take You Down. If I ever am able to post these things for you, I promise you, once you get it in your head, you will be singing, I'm gonna beat you down. I'm really gonna beat you down. It's catchy. It's catchy and it has you enthralled. My man's does the little things that matter. He'll sit there, wrap your arm, and then sing into it like a microphone. Like he literally has kids he singing, yeah, when he comes out. Like it's the definition of touching the crowd. He's not gonna be in the Indies too much longer because he is oozing charisma. He oozes talent in the ring. He's just getting better by the weeks. Like I can't say enough good things about Stan. And just be like I said, the little things that he does are what take the character to the next level. And which I really believe that TK has him on his radar. Somebody's got to have him on his radar because this is a talent, another Zara Zucker that I don't see sitting around in the Indies too much longer because they're just so talented.
Nah, no doubt. And yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. Drizzy is 100% right. Like y'all follow him, Stan Michael R&B on Instagram. He's got a lot of clips of promo work he's done. You know, clips of matches he has. But it's the element of I'm a biased person, bro. I've been rapping since I was 13 years old. I've been recording music since I was 16. I've been battle rapping since I was 24. You know, so the fact that people can add an element to the landscape of another art that they're very talented and mesh it with professional wrestling, I think it's beautiful, bro. I think it's some of the most creative stuff that you can possibly do in this world. And like you said, man, charisma ain't something that is easy to, you can't really learn it, to be real with you. It's either you got it or you don't. The it factor is a real thing. And like Stan Michael, he got a lot of charisma, and I would not be surprised if he's picked up within one of these WWE ID deals, whether he's picked up on a ROH deal, on TNA, whatever it may be. He's like one of these dudes that you should have on your television. He needs to be on TV. He's a type of dude that should be on TV because he will maximize his minutes on TV, given the opportunity if you give it to him.
He will have you the highlight of your night. You're walking around singing one of his songs.
Bro, like you mentioned it, like we talk about like Joe Hendry, man. Like that parody stuff is freaking genius, bro.
It's money. Like, it's money. And it's genius. You're absolutely correct.
The other thing is, like you said, he has an actual album too. Like if that pops off, then you have a crossover star, right? Like
he can actually sing too, for sure. Like he does.
No, because I had to do my research as well. Shot like, and the first thing I looked up was the album. Right, it was faster to listen to the music than it was to look at highlights, and I was like, whoa, the music's good. Like now we're talking. And then I caught highlights and was like, yeah, no, Dryzzy, you're spot on here.
Yeah, man. And this is like we always do here, man. Open invitation. Stan, are you watching this? Open invitation, man. Come to the Sunday Spotlight. Let's have a conversation so you can explain who you are more to the world of professional wrestling, to the Wrestling Republic fans. It'd be dope to have you. It'd be an honor more than anything, man. So hopefully we could get Stan Michael on the show one of these days. We'll definitely have to, do our reach out to him if you can, Dryzzy, and it'd be dope to have bro on the show. So let's get to the next topic because we're going back to that faction that we was talking about, the Death Riders. But we gotta talk about the scariest member of the Death Riders, in my opinion. A literal walking weapon in Marina Shafir. And Clark, you are an expert in mixed martial arts. You are probably the biggest MMA fan that I know personally. And we was on the Dynamite Review show yesterday, and I know you was itching even more to talk about this with our limited time because you thought Marina Shafir was about to have Jay White in the hospital.
His face was purple. Okay, first off, that was an Ezekiel choke that she had on him, and it was locked in. I don't know if it was gimmicked or not. To me, his face was turning purple. I thought he was going out for real, and I loved every second of it, and I love the utilization of that hold. She's a judo expert. She's a pioneer in grappling, especially women's grappling. In 2012, at a time when the UFC, Dana White went on camera in a press conference and said, we will never book women's MMA. There was nowhere for women's MMA to go. She went 5-0 on the amateur scene, all by submission in the first round, and was the primary training partner of Ronda Rousey, who eventually broke through. And in 2013, made Dana White eat those words and main evented one of the highest selling pay-per-views in the history of the company. Marina Shafir is an absolute pioneer when it comes to that. She is a walking weapon. The Ezekiel choke, the aesthetic inside of the Death Riders fits her perfectly. This is golden. This is the best she's ever been utilized in her entire career. And I think the ceiling is the highest it's been since she's debuted in wrestling right this second. And that's not to say that the potential wasn't there before, but it was always speculatory, right? It needed parameters. That's been lifted at this stage. She's that good. She's that dangerous. She looks that dangerous. The execution in the ring, she just choked out in a visually vicious way. An all-time great IWGP champion in Jay White just absolutely left him lifeless in the dead center of the ring. And it looked legit. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, she is arguably the most dangerous of the Death Riders, and I can't say enough good things about Marina Shafir. I had to give her the spotlight this week because it's long deserved.
Dude, I totally agree with you. I think this is definitely the best work that she's done thus far in pro wrestling. That's the stuff that she was doing in NXT with Shayna and Jessamine Duke. That's her, debuting with the little violin music and all of that. Even more importantly, better than the fedora promo that she had. But it's working. I think they found her niche. She don't need to talk a lot. She kills you with her facial expressions and just her mean mug like that. And then what she does to people, like literally, like her judo slams are so freaking smooth, bro.
She's
like,
Moldovan, but she did move here when she was 5, and she's actually very well spoken. If you hear her in interviews off screen, I think if given the opportunity on the microphone, she could find her groove too. Because I'll tell you what, when it comes to grappling or MMA, she's as good of a trash talker on the mat as it comes. That's what she's known for, right? She'll tell you she's going to beat you up, and then do it. And like, so I mean, I agree with you that thus far in pro wrestling, that hasn't been something that's been featured, but she's not somebody that struggles, I think, with speaking as much as it's kind of been portrayed, given the lack of opportunity there. If you hand her a microphone, you never know. She might cut a pretty gnarly promo.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of it depends on comfortability and what you do as a character. And I do agree. I think if given an opportunity to talk now for the character work she's doing and how she's kind of displayed, like she doesn't need to like cut you a 2-minute, 3-minute promo that's fiery. She can kind of give you a few words in a mean way or whatever, like in a scary tone, whatever it may be, and it gets the job done. Like the thing is this. With pro wrestling, like not everybody need to be a talker.
It's true. It's
like,
very true.
Some of the best characters are not talkers. I mean, what y'all think in regards to Marina Shafir, Megan?
Well, I wasn't really familiar with her history in MMA, but I'm just discovering her since watching AEW, and I have to agree with your assessments. There's something about her that sets her apart from other women in that particular fighting style that she is an expert in, and that's going to take her far. And and not to be one of those people, but I'm also like a fan of her husband and the characters that he plays as well. So, I'm she's someone that I'm still discovering, but I do like watching her as well as being a part of this new fraction with
For
John
sure.
Moxley.
For sure. You know what's kind of interesting? It's kind of like they're giving her a little bit of like what Rhea Ripley was doing with Judgment Day, where she's just imposing to like the dudes. We haven't even had her tap into a bag in the women's division. I mean, Dryzzy, do you think you could see Marina Shafir once she gets, as she's continuing getting acclimated in this new character, touching some gold soon?
Absolutely. I think she's doing a great job because I know she's getting her reps on the indies and in Defy progress with that. As you've seen a couple of weeks ago, last month, she had a match with Nina Samuels, good friend of our show.
Yeah.
And it's like you just see her gathering those miles and learning everywhere else. And then by the time when she makes that AEW debut, which is also genius because you're building the anticipation now. You're seeing her each week, and she's out here. You see her
Mhm.
choking these men. So like, oh my god, if she's doing that to them, imagine what she would do to like Chris Statlander or what she would do
Mm-hmm.
to Julia Hart or any of these other women in this division. So it's genius booking, genius building anticipation. I love all of it. It's gonna be a event when she does pop out in an official match.
Yeah, when they kind of reintroduce her to it, I said yesterday. I think that's who needs. I think that's who Mercedes needs to lose to is Marina. Let
It
Mercedes kind
definitely.
of continue this reign she's having, and then Moxley unleashes the pit bull on her, and she just wrecks shop, just completely wrecks shop on Mercedes. Gava has a good bout because it is Mercedes, and she's a Hall of Fame wrestler in her own right in women's division. But
Shad, we brought that up after the daily yesterday when you talked about it or whatever, and I said I'm like, dude, the hip toss that Marina could put on Mercedes, like she
and
could,
Mercedes gonna sell
the
that so
elevation
too.
would just be like
She
just a
gonna sell
judo
the hell
throw,
out of for her.
like that would be cartoonish. Like,
It is. It's
Yeah,
gonna be. You know how Austin Theory does that extra jump when he sits there and gets stunned.
yeah,
You're
it's
gonna get
just
something
like,
like that.
see,
yeah, yeah. You got CEO. She knows she's is an incredible, obviously in ring worker. She is, and the moves that she's able to do are elite. When we're talking about bell to bell, she knows how to make her opponents look good too. She's a good dance partner, and I think that could be someone that could make just off of the merit who she beats, and then also making Marina continue really look strong in that way. I think that could be a
also
good
to
feud.
your point, to Mercedes' version of like the label lock, the submission that she uses, I'm not sure exactly what they're calling it right now in AEW, but right, what was it, the boss,
Just the bank statement.
the bank
Bank,
No,
statement?
it was
Yeah,
the
no,
no. What
it
was
was called a belt. It's called the bank statement WWE. It's called the I don't know
the
what it's called.
I don't know what
AEW.
it's called in AEW,
well,
but
she hasn't used it since she left
the
WWE.
opportunity
So
for reversals and given the grappling acumen could also make for exciting spots that you have the
Yeah,
two
yeah, you're
athletes.
right. She has
You can
tried.
really go
She doesn't
fast
use it
and
as much
slow.
anymore.
Yeah, that could be some fun stuff. I got, thinking about
Hey TK man, if
I
you
think it'd be
watching,
really
bro,
good. Book it.
if you watching it, bro, we giving you a master a feud right there. So we won't just cut me a little check, man. This mortgage costs a little bit, but man. All right, let's get to the last topic before we get to the highlights of the week, and we're gonna stick to the world of the independent wrestling circuit. We're gonna go to someone who is one of the first WWE ID signings, and we're gonna pick someone that's from the nation's capital, Miss Real Deal Zayda Steele. This is who I decided to spotlight this week because I heard about Zayda Steele prior to her getting signed to WWID, but I wanted to do a little bit more deep dive because I did hear that she is from the DMV and she's from Northern Virginia, actually, right around the corner from where I am from. And she's also an Arab American, I'm presuming a Muslim American. And for me, that's dope to see, man. If you from Nova, we are a widespread community of people out here, man. But we have a lot of people that are brown Americans, Muslim Americans, Arab Americans, and to see a young, Muslim Arab American girl being, inspired by WWE throughout her whole life, as she's mentioned, growing up, watching a lot of the divas during her time frame, and now being able to take the world of pro wrestling, being in the WWE ID fold, it's dope to see, man. We talk about representation all the time, and seeing someone that is different, man. There's not a lot of Arab American wrestlers in the fold. You know, we got people like Mansoor. You know, we had a person like Aaliyah. You got a Mustafa Ali. It's cool to see what she's being able to do. And she's a very talented young lady. She's got a lot of charisma, like we're talking about. Very heelish, talks with a lot of confidence within herself. You know, she's someone that you want to kind of get beat up. And she's been working ever since she's kind of got the ID deal. We just saw her, I think, last night wrestle Rio. We talk about progress. We're talking about Defy and all that. They just had a match on the Defy show. I believe she just had a match with Brooke Havoc on GCW. The girl is working, and I'm very interested to see how she continues to grow as a professional wrestler. Still very young in her early 20s. And this is someone I want to be surprised on the NXT shows when we do on Tuesdays at some point. I think she's got the, balance of being so young and growing, but still being so charismatic and good. I think WWE gave her this ID deal because they do see some interest in a future investment to her. So salute to the real deal, Zayda Steel. And like I said, man, for y'all indie wrestlers, the invitation is always there for the Sunday Spotlight. If you want to talk with us.
Open
invite.
Mm.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be some dope stuff. So, all right, let's get to the last topic because this is highlight of the week. But we've made an executive decision because we're going back to GCW technically. Go ahead.
I was just
You gonna say
one
something?
highlight. I was just gonna say we made an executive decision. One.
It says highlight of the week, not highlights of the week. All right, man. I'm gonna just open it like this. Last week we saw a return at a GCW show. Ricky Starks. First time we heard him talking to Pro Wrestling Ring in a long time. Cut a fiery promo talking about that he does not like being sitting at home, not being able to do anything. He's ready to get back on the road, working these indie circuits, and really get back to what he loves to do. A couple days later, we saw him talk with the most talented interviewer out there, Chris Van Fleet, talking about his frustrations going on. What saying he doesn't know why he's not been booked on AEW. Talking about a lot of stuff that could be political in regards to people backstage having issues with his, close relationship with Cody Rhodes and Jade, and seeing him in the WWE at Royal Rumble and whatnot. And then a few days later, GCW says, we got call from somebody up the road in AEW saying that Ricky Starks can't do these shows that we have booked. He's no longer on the shows. The match he was supposed to have with Matt Cardona next month got pulled. Another future match got pulled, and it's only with GCW. So Ricky Starks is the highlight of the week because I've literally just said 4 things that happened, and it's all happened this week from Sunday night all the way to, I believe, the day before Thanksgiving. And I just want to open the panel to y'all, man, because I feel like we got to kind of have this conversation because we are all big Ricky Starks fans. And we're also big AEW fans as well. What's y'all thoughts on everything going on from just this whole timetable of what's happening? I mean, who want to go first?
I'll let one of the guys go first.
I had
Jersey, kick it off, Jersey.
I had a opinion about this for a sec until about maybe 2 minutes ago during you were talking. I just got a notification that Ricky is gonna be facing Santana for the Hog title. So I thought this was a all indies thing. We just assumed that normally when you think of indies, GCW is one of your bigger names that you talk about. So I just think, oh, well, that's where he's going. They're pulling him off all indies. But after seeing he's still got that going, I'm not 100% sure what happened in GCW or who he spoke to or any of those things. But it seems like there's a little bit more than what we know. Now, I absolutely do think it sucks that Ricky is still stuck sitting at home and he wants to go do things. I really don't like. Well, let's say before I got the notification about the match, I really had the opinion that like that's it's petty. Y'all trying to keep this man from making a living, and something needs to be done about it. Like I wish that this was something that could be disputed in court and contracts and everything. But after seeing he can still work hard, I was like, I'm kind of back in the air about everything again. So I'm definitely gonna sit back and watch because normally with stuff like this, the more you wait, the more news and info you get off of it. So it's still a developing thing, even to this very moment.
Nah, it is, and I don't know exactly what's going on with the GCW thing. Obviously, uh, Effie, who's a you know integral part of GCW, kind of like one of the more like notable names on there, got a podcast. And he took some shots at AEW a couple weeks ago about the whole Hammerstein ballroom venue. Had a couple comments in regards to TK and TK's pops that, in some ways people ain't gonna let fly a lot. And I mean, petty is as petty can be, bro. Like he's going. He's contractually part of.
If you got an issue with that man, have an issue with that man. Don't penalize me because I'm on a show and he decided to start saying those things.
Nah, for sure. I definitely agree with you. It's just pro wrestling can be a very petty political thing. I mean, what you think, Clark? What are your thoughts in regards to just the whole timeline of Ricky Starks this week?
I mean, I'm fascinated by this week because we got a lot of questions and we've talked about Ricky Starks more than we have in a long time, which is deserved because it's a legit question. Why is he not on TV on AEW? Why now he gets booked in GCW? Why did that happen? There's a lot of questions there, but it's also the most we've talked about Ricky Starks this year in a long time. And if they make something of it, then I don't know. It's difficult. It's he's contractually obligated to AEW. Like, what are you going to do? At the same time, is this an angle? Is it not? It is pro wrestling. Like, if it is an angle, I would love this. I've been preaching it all year long. Please, some wrestler and some company pull the wool over not just the casual fans' eyes, but pull it over ours. And if it's this one, they did it. And I will be fired up. Do I think it is? Probably not. But like, like that's what I'm rooting for. I as the perpetual optimist when it comes to this, that's what I want to happen. But I don't really know what to think. It's just this one's funky as all funky. It's like it's just goofy.
It is.
Bro,
I'm still developing. It's very funky, but it's also still cooking and developing as we're, like I said, as we were just having brought up the subject.
Exactly, and to your point, Driz, like it's not even just developing. It feels like it's like a roller coaster of development, right? It's like up and down, up and down. It's like there's like this news, then there's this news, then there's this. It's not like a linear situation in any way.
It's just weird,
right?
It's weird because I don't know what is coincidental and what's not.
Yeah.
Like everything kind of like, man, I'll tell you this. If CVV saw him cut that promo at GCW and was just like, oh, this is the best time to drop the interview. Like I'm going to get a lot of, like, it's a hot topic right now, right? And I'm not saying he's doing that. Don't quote me saying that.
But it's like that timing is impeccable. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying, but it's not that we didn't think it. Like for a second, maybe, right? Like I don't know. The timing is odd. Like there's so many things like that when it comes to this. Yeah, I feel like it's like a cop-out answer. I wish I had more like of a definitive opinion, but I'm just like, I'm kind of unsure because it's like it's here, then it's there, it's here, then it's there. Like
it's going on. It's like it's going all over the place. I mean, Megan, what are your thoughts in regards to everything Ricky Starks this week?
I mean, I think like a lot of people, um, Effie's sentiment to Tony, this $40 million deficit that he claimed AEW allegedly have Tony's father paying him to not be around. I mean, the guy said a lot of things that probably would have pissed off anybody else. And, you know, maybe Tony looked at it as though I can't punish this guy for the things that he have said. But what I can do is punish the company for allowing him to say these things about me, my father, our company, and then they expect one of my wrestlers to wrestle in their organization. Um, I would be a liar if I said I wouldn't have been that type of petty myself. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt this guy. It might not even hurt GCW, but it definitely hurts Ricky.
Yeah.
And after you have taken him off of TV for 7 months and with no real explanation to why, and he having to vocally share the reason why he's not been on TV, which maybe is a little arrogant of me to say. I'll say it anyway. Um, I feel like I got one up on Chris because he never really went into details about his issues with Edge as he did in the one single email I had with him. And I do hope that one day if he doesn't share that in full extent, then hell, maybe we could get that exclusive here. But you know, Ricky has shared the reason why he has not been on TV, and it has been out of spite. So it's kind of hard not to assume that him being taken off of GCW um, schedule is not out of spite towards him as well. But as I said on Twitter, and I'll say it on here, I hope that Ricky reaches out to Cody and asks Cody for the best attorney that he could find, the best contract lawyer, business attorney, sports attorney who can help him get out of this situation. Because I'm sure there's a loophole. He needs to be he needs to get out of this 360 deal that he's in.
Mm.
That's what it feels like to me.
I will
Oh
say there are a
man,
lot of people
three
out there that don't
360
mind
deal
getting
is
paid for not
crazy.
doing anything.
That's
He is
what
in
it
a
feels like
360
to
deal.
me.
He's in a
There's a
It's
360
lot of
deal.
definitely
there's a
it's
lot of
it's
people out there that don't mind getting paid to do nothing.
I know,
and
but
then there's a lot of people
But
who
hold
they
up.
love the sport and they
Oh yeah.
want
Mhm.
to do it while they are still young and fit and able to do it. And Tony is taken away. There's one thing that a man, woman, or child can never get back, and that's time. And that is what
Time.
Tony is taking away from this man. He's taking time. And it doesn't matter how much money you get, you can't get that time back. And
right.
in that case, I can
Mhm.
understand the frustration with Ricky because this is something that he wants to do. Imagine making it on your favorite football team and you piss off a Hall of Famer football player,
Yeah. And then you
and
get benched.
now you're benched, and now
Yeah.
you have to sit there and you have to watch
That's true.
all of your friends get to play on the field, and you have to sit there and you can't even leave the team. You can't even ask for a transfer.
Mhm.
You just have to sit there and watch. It's a nasty position that he's in. And
It
I would
is.
even go as far as to saying Tony has become the man that he said that he despised the most. He has
Mhm.
became Vince McMahon.
Like you're not wrong at all. And that even who is Ray Phoenix and
Yeah,
Pentagon. I believe I'm not 100% sure, but I think Miro is kind of having the same issue. And it's
Keith Lee.
I think Miro's
like
out of his deal.
why would we?
Yeah, obviously those ones we don't know the specifics of it.
Yeah,
Just because we haven't heard it from him, but I've obviously
yeah,
we've heard rumor mill reports and whatnot. I will say this, and I think man, Megan, you kind of like hit it
they're on the head.
bullseye.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence, and um the most important thing that I got, and I absolutely did enjoy the interview that he did with Chris Van Fleet, because he you could tell he got some shit on his chest. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wants to get some shit off, man. He's frustrated at the current juncture of time. And when he talked about being in his prime, man, he's around our age, right? Like he's in his mid-30s. This is it, really. This is your prime years, really. Obviously, guys are able to kind of have a shelf life in their 40s and 50s, but like this is the age where he's still relatively in his youth, and he's not getting any younger, and
I
he
will
wants to
say
kind of hit the ball rolling and work. Like he wants to work, and he's his dream is to be a professional wrestler. He wants to be in the landscape of pro wrestling. If whether it's getting him out of his deal or while he's here, man, finding some ways to use him, bro. Like let the brother eat, man. Let him work. Us as fans want to see the guy on TV, man. I want to see Ricky Starks on TV. I love Ricky Starks. I love the stuff he was been doing in AEW prior to all this.
I
Yeah,
agree, and
right.
I do too. But the one thing I will say when it comes to like the age and the time thing is, thankfully in this situation, he's not putting more mileage on his body, so he's not out there wrestling
He's put a
unseen,
mileage on his
right?
mental, bro.
He's not.
He,
No, and that's fair, and that's kind of what we've addressed. My point is though, he's not putting more mileage bell to bell, taking bumps all the time and doing that. So the one positive is once the deal does eventually expire, or he finds common ground, or he does have his return, he's at full health. This isn't a situation like other wrestlers we've seen who are dealing with a long-term injury or something like that that's put them on the shelf. Yes, it sucks that he's off TV for no reason, but he is going to be healthy when he comes back. And we haven't for the 2 years or the year and a half that he's been away while he's aged by the clock. His body hasn't
I mean,
aged
he's
by the
coming off
bump.
of. He was out for a while too, bro. He had a major neck injury where he was out for a year
No,
too.
no,
So like
100%, right? And
he's
so
got
attitude
tats on
wise,
his
to have the
body.
time for recovery may not be the worst thing. He may
it,
may come
it
back at his very healthiest,
I
at his
hear
very
what she's
yes,
saying. I
yes
hear what you're
and
saying,
no.
but that's not. I can only go off of what he feels, bro. He feels like
no.
he's
Yeah.
having his time wasted.
Mm.
Like I
And
get
then
what
you
you're
got
saying.
I
That's
can
kind
to,
of
only
a
imagine.
glass
Trust
half
me.
full
Yeah.
situation.
and then you
I'm
got
just
to,
saying that's the one positive I can see out of this.
All
it's a
we
double
could
S.
do.
My bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go. You go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Go ahead.
just gonna say that all we could do is just hope that he would see that as a positive. I mean, it's yes, it's great to be healthy and stuff, but it's like at what cost? At what cost? You know, it's just it's like I said, being of physical shape, not having to deal with injuries. Yes, that is the good side of it all. But, it's like we say, the body does tend to slow down. Um, as long as he keeps training, that will definitely keep him in that wrestling physical shape. But You know, it's like Shad said, all you can really do is go by how he feels. And to me, it's no different than Tegan Knox, who wasn't
Yeah.
on TV, who wasn't even doing house shows. Like you had her sitting around. But
Hmm.
I mean, and I don't mean to put it this way so I can hurry up and let Drizzy get his final thought in. At least WWE gave her the due respect of putting her out of her misery and allowing her to be free to go and wrestle elsewhere. Tony won't even give Ricky that due respect as a man, you know, to let him go. He doesn't want to work for you, Tony.
But did he
He
ask
doesn't
for
want
his
to be
release
there.
yet?
I don't think he asked for his
Is
release.
That's
is
the only
is
thing,
Tony
Megan.
going to
Is if
let
he
him?
hasn't asked for it,
But if he asked for his release, what he's been doing is adding that time to it.
yeah.
So
And
it's
all
just
you could
sitting.
do is just sit
But
No,
there
but
and watch it
yeah,
happen to
the
other people.
well, they said his deal was
because Tegan did
rumor
ask.
mill. Rumor mill. He had his deal was supposed to come off, and they tacked on an option time. Dude, I think due to the injury, he tacked up more time for it. I mean, whether he asked for his release or not, I guess we don't technically know. But I know he wants to wrestle and he's healthy. So why don't
Yeah,
you have him on?
yeah.
That's the thing. If he's healthy, right? Why don't you use him? Just you put him on TV. Like have him do something. Like I don't know why we're not using him. He hasn't wrestled
The
since we're going close to a year now. It's
It's
been since
smart.
March.
there's
And
only
that's when the whole promo thing happened.
yeah, there's only one excuse I'll take for it, and that is this is such a hot commodity. We don't want to just give it to the competition at its hottest.
Yeah.
That's the only
It's
legit
probably what
reason
it
that
is,
I'll
to be
really
honest with
accept it. But it really does come off right
Putting
now
it, yeah,
as I'm being petty
yeah.
because you let Effie talk bad about me. You didn't carry my flag.
Yeah, the thing is this, right? I if the GCW thing, it damn sure better not only be Ricky. If your beef is
Yeah,
with GCW,
there
then
should
you
be
better
no
tell
Mox. There
there's
should
no
be no
Moxley,
Marina,
Marina,
no
Athena.
Jared, none of them.
None of them need to be on GCW.
Don't ask for them for the collective for in March or not March in
Hmm.
April for the collective when they go to where they at? Go to Vegas for Mania week. Don't ask for them for that.
Yeah,
Like
because I'm not.
That's
The thing
gonna
is
be a
this,
good thing.
at the moment, I'm not
in
for the
fact,
GCW portion of it since he is doing other stuff. I'm not gonna give AEW much of an issue on it because it does seem like it's some beef with them. But it's just coincidentally this is Starks who's being taken off first, right? But like I say, y'all better drop like it gotta be everybody can't be on GCW. If it's a beef with GCW, then he's gotta be like, yo,
Yeah,
none of my talent can
like,
go
yeah,
over there.
what if somebody shows
and
up? That's the weirdest one, right?
and
What if
honest
somebody shows up at a GCW show?
and
It's
honestly,
possible.
if this is a
Some of them are cool with them
GCW
over there,
beef,
bro.
if
Yeah,
this is a G, half of them used to work for AEW, like George Janela and them. They were
Yeah.
right.
in the early days. But if this is a GCW issue, like yeah, I don't want none of my wrestlers work for it. That's a big blow for GCW
Oh yeah, for sure.
because, like I said, that collective they also work in conjunction with Bloodsport, Tokyo Joshi Pro, Progress, Defy. Like that's a lot of Ashe. Like
Well,
that's a lot of
you never you never know though,
It
man. It
might,
might
it might.
also be tied to the WWE ID stuff too.
That's what I was
Well,
gonna
maybe,
say. It might not be because rumor mill, but they did say that some of the WWE wrestlers will start appearing more at these indie promotions and their shows.
yeah.
So, you
Yeah,
know,
we just thought Ludwig.
one man's garbage is another man's treasure. Tony might want to reconsider letting that pettiness go because WWE will see it as an opportunity and they will snatch it up.
mhm.
I
So
think,
true.
and not obviously we about to finish up in a second, but I think AEW and WWE should continue letting stars do indie showings though, because that makes it special for fans just in general. Like, I ain't saying you gotta have like them working every weekend or whatnot, but having them do these type of things, like they just had Ludwig go back to his, promotion that he was part of. Like that joint is dope, man. You had Balor and JD do it as well, and then obviously
Yeah.
AEW's been doing that before anybody. They have people doing indie stuff all the time, so I guess we'll have to continue and see. But that's why that was the highlight of the week, because like y'all said, man, there's a lot to unravel with that. But man, that's all the time we have here today. Thank you all for watching this, man. Continue supporting us. We'll be back the same time next week. And, watch all previous episodes, especially the ones with our incredible guests that we have interviewed. We plan to have more in the upcoming time frame. Hopefully have ones before the year unravels. And, happy December, man. Road to Christmas is on the way. Y'all take care, man. Have a good one. In the words of Jay Uso, deuces, ooses.